What's up, guys? Today I'll be doing a budget build of a gaming computer for 500, which can probably play Battlefield 3. Yeah. Well, starting off with the case, the Antec 300 ATX mid-tower gaming case. Of course, for gaming, you need a gaming case, right? Alright, let's get to the specs. This case, it has 6 hard drive bays, which means those are 3.5 inch hard drive bays, and 3 optical drive bays, which are 5.25 inch. You could also mount a converter, so you could have more hard drives. But yeah, and there's also a 2.5 inch SSD mount on the bottom near your power supply, and you got 7 expansion slots right here. 7 expansion slots under your I/O shield for PCI. There are the 3-speed rear and top fans. Like, they exhaust air. Since air rises up naturally, yeah, that helps it faster. And since the intake, which I usually recommend front and bottom, exit the top and rear. Alright, the perforated front bezel of the case, which means good airflow, but clean air will enter your case, and that's always good. You never want to have dust all over your motherboard, which can actually short. Yeah, dust can short what? Yeah, dust can actually short your motherboard out. Well, that never happened to me, but yeah. And the filters inside, you can clean them with water. You just wash them out with water and you'll be all set. And in the front, there's also 2 USB 2.0 and one microphone and 1 headphone jack. Easily accessible. And you got a power and reset button with a power LED. And it's also backed with a 3-year limited warranty, which could be helpful at some time. But Antec's pretty good known to their cases. Alright, heading over to the power supply. The Coolmaster Extreme Power Plus Series 500 watt power supply. This power supply is way more than, can handle way more than your 7770 and i3. So, going down to specs. It has a dual rail configuration, which means you got 2 times the reliability. That means you don't accidentally overload on one rail, which sucks. You never want that to happen. And it has 70% efficiency. Too bad it doesn't qualify for 80+, but 70 is pretty good already. And with a high reliability of the mean time between failure of more than 100,000 hours. And also have over voltage protection, over power protection, short circuit protection. That means when the computer is running and then plug in a hard drive and the hard drive is somehow broken and it shorts the computer, it doesn't keep on shorting until it breaks every component, which would be bad. And I do not recommend you plug your computer in when fixing it. Yeah. Anyways, the fan inside, this is load control. That means if you load it at 100%, it spins at 100%. You load at 0%, it spins at like 15%. 10%. Yeah, so yeah, that's about it. It has a 2-year warranty. Alright, heading over to the motherboard. This is a Gigabyte G8H61M DS2. The socket is LGA 1155. Since this is a H61 motherboard, you can't really overclock it, so yeah, but since it's a Gigabyte, you got dual BIOS. That means BIOS is like the main controller that runs your whole system. So that fails, you're basically screwed. So having 2 of them is better than 1. Well, I've had one of my boards fail. I tried to flash the BIOS and the board died. Yeah, going to the details. So this motherboard supports the Intel Core i3, i5, i7, Pentium, and Celeron packages in the 1155 socket. It uses the Intel H61 Express chipset. It has two memory DIMM sockets for DDR3 at 1.5 volt, supporting up to 16 gigabytes of memory. That means 8 by 2. And it supports 1333, 1066, or 800 megahertz. And the onboard graphics is one D sub port. That means one DVI port. The audio has a Realtek audio codec with high definition audio, configuring for stereo or 2, quad or 4, 5.1 channel, 7.1 channel surround, and has one NAND made by Realtek, which is 1010. This expansion slot is one PCI Express 16X slot, and that is running at 16X. And it has two PCI Express 1X slots, which is running at 1X. The storage, it has 4 SATA 3GB connectors, which are a bit slow, which are SATA 2, and a bit slow, but yeah, it is a budget build. In the rear back panels or the I/O connectors, there is a 1PS2 port. I still like to see that on motherboards. So 1 PS2 port for mouse, 1 PS2 port for keyboard, which doesn't matter, and 1 DVI port for onboard video. As 4 USB 2.0 ports, 1 RJ45 or Ethernet with the 10100-1000 controller, 3 audio jacks, line in, line out, and microphone. Line out is basically speakers. Line in is another version of headphones. The internal IOs there is one 24-pin main motherboard connector, or the ATX main power. One 4-pin 12-volt for your CPU. 4 SATA 3 gigabit connectors, which are SATA 2. 1 CPU fan header, 1 system fan header, and 1 front panel header, which are all your USBs, headphones, microphones, power button, power AV, yeah, those stuff. That's there's a parallel port header, which I'm not sure why you would use, but yeah. And there's also a serial port header. And a clear CMOS jumper. I'd rather see a button, but well, this is a budget build. Alright, going on to the CPU. I'm using the Intel Core i3 2120. Well, this is a this is not a Sandy Bridge. This is actually the first generation i3. So it is clocked at 3.3 GHz and uses the LJ1155 socket. And with all i3s, you cannot overclock them. Yeah. So it uses a 32 nanometer process, and the max power consumption, which is max TDP, is 65 watts. And it also has onboard graphics, which is clocked at 850 megahertz. And this processor supports hyper-threading. That means in test manager you will see 4 cores instead of 2, but it's actually 4 real cores and 4 virtual cores, which is a bit less than 4 real cores, but it performs almost the same. It has Intel virtualization software, which means you can use virtual machines inside this, which is very good with my videos. The one when I did ice cream sandwich, yeah. Well, there's speed step. That means if you're not using a CPU, it'll turn the clock speed down, so you'll use less power more efficient, less heat output. And onboard memory controller. For RAM, we'll be using a PNY Optima 2 4 gig dual channel kit memories, which is 2x2, 2 gig. And these are also running on 1333 MHz, so they can handle all the games that you're at, and their DDR3. Alright, heading over to the graphics card. We'll be using the Sapphire Radeon HD 7770 GHz edition with 1 gig of GDDR5 memory. The GHz edition means the graphics card will be clocked higher than 1 GHz, which you can also overclock it with the ATI AMD Control Center. Alright, the ports on it is HDMI, DVI, dual link DVI, and 2 mini display port headers or connectors. Yep. Alright, I've got a choice of either using a hard drive, a 500GB SATA 3 7200 RPM hard drive by Western Digital, or you could go with the SSD, the OCZ 120GB Agility 3 6GB 2.5-inch SSD, which most are, and has like the whopping 525 megabytes of read, which the write will probably be 450. But yeah, and the hard drive is just a 500GB SATA 3 7200 RPM hard drive, Western Digital. Alright, for the DVD drive, well, I do recommend one to install Windows, but if you're just gonna go with USB installation, then I don't know. Maybe you wanna watch a movie. Yeah. I went for a Sony, which I guess are good. Alright, now you have another choice. You can either get Windows 7 Home Premium, Service Pack 1, 64-bit, or you can get Windows 8 Release Preview. But if you get Windows 8 Release Preview, you can have the 500 gig hard drive and the 120 gig Agility 3 if you get rid of the Windows 7 Home Premium, which I would rather go that route and use this as cache, or maybe your boot drive and this as your data drive where you store your movies, videos, I don't know. Yeah, so this comes at around $500. So yeah, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment.